10th grade English students. I'm going to be reading aloud our summative assessment, which is worth 13 points. I'm going to read aloud the instructions, and then I'm going to read the text on the page. You don't have to listen to this recording if you would rather read the material by yourself, but you're welcome to listen to this and follow along. So this assessment is on transforming themes from source material, the Colossus of Rhodes. Let's take a look here at the instructions. Identifying theme. A theme is the central, underlying, and controlling idea or insight in a work of literature. A theme will be an idea stated explicitly or implicitly that the author wishes to convey about a subject or an idea that the author has about human nature. A theme will be expressed in a full sentence, never in a single word, and it differs from a work's purpose, moral, and conflict. Rhetorical strategies include, but are not limited to, allusion, ethos, flashback, foreshadowing, humor, hyperbole, imagery, logos, metaphor, pathos, repetition, rhetorical questions, and symbol. All right, now let's take a look at this first question here. You are going to be instructed to examine the three sources below. One of them, this is the first source here. This is the second source here. And this is the third source, which is an excerpt from the play, The Tragedy of Julius Caesar, which we just read. Okay, when you're answering this question, you're going to list at least two details. One from source one, the picture, and one from source two, the article, that will help your understanding of Cassius's reference to the Colossus of Rhodes, or that help you to understand Cassius's reference to the Colossus of Rhodes. So let's take a look here at source number one. That's this picture, this painting right here. Remember, we took a look at that picture in class when we talked about the allusions, the important allusions in Julius Caesar. Source 2 is an article from history.com. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Colossus of Rhodes, was a massive statue of a male figure built around 280 BC and erected on the Greek island of Rhodes. Much about the monument remains shrouded in mystery, as it was destroyed in an earthquake in 226 BC. However, ancient accounts hold that the Colossus of Rhodes was created in honor of the sun god Helios and to commemorate the Rhodanians' successful defense of their island against a siege led by Macedonian leader Demetrius Poliorcetes in 305 BC. Legend has it the people of Rhodes sold the equipment left behind by the Macedonians in order to bankroll the statue's creation. Designed by Greek sculptor Charles of Lindos, the Colossus of Rhodes reportedly stood about 110 feet tall atop a 50-foot platform. By comparison, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the only ancient world wonder that still survives, initially rose about 481 feet when it was completed, likely sometime between 2560 BC and 2540 BC. Another ancient world wonder, the statue of Zeus at Olympia, produced in the mid-5th century BC, was about 40 feet tall. Today, the world's tallest statues include China's Spring Temple Buddha, which stands 354 feet atop a 66-foot high lotus throne that itself sits on an 82-foot tall building, and Burma's Lacunian Sectar Buddha, which is 381 feet high with a 44-foot tall base. Both structures were completed in the early 21st century. In 2008, government officials in Rhodes announced plans were in the drawing board for a new Colossus. Rather than being a replica, it's intended to take shape as the planet's largest light sculpture. All right, and now we're going to look at source 3, okay? So source 3, you'll recognize this passage as one that we have already read in The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. This takes place towards the beginning of the play. Well, let's take a look. This is Cassius speaking. Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs, and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Then, at some time, are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together, ours is as fair a name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, it is as heavy, conjure with them, Brutus. Will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. Now, in the names of all the gods at once, upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods. When went there by an age, since the great flood, but it was famed with more than with one man? When could they say till now, that talked of Rome, that her wide walks encompass but one man? Now it is room indeed, and room enough, when there is in it but one only man. Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say, there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state and room as easily as a king. Okay, so I read this question one before we took a look at all the sources here. You're going to list one detail in this box from source one, which is the picture, and then one detail in box two, which is the article that helps your understanding of Cassius's reference to the Colossus of Rhodes. And remember here, Cassius is talking to Brutus, and this is towards the beginning of the play, before the murder, the assassination of Julius Caesar. All right, let's take a look at question number 2. How does Shakespeare's use of an allusion to the Colossus of Rhodes contribute to the development of a theme or the development of a character? Be sure to include the theme or character in your answer. You can start off your answer by saying Shakespeare's allusion to the Colossus of Rhodes contributes to the development of the theme or character, and then state that theme or character and circle which one you're talking about. And then you're going to say why. Okay, remember the handful of themes we talked about. Remember all the characters that we talked about. You're going to want to focus in on the character Julius Caesar here for number 2. Question number 3, use only source 3 and be sure to include a quote and citation. Identify a rhetorical strategy employed by the author and explain how the use of that strategy influences the development of a theme or the development of a character. Be sure to include the theme or character in your answer. So just to recall the rhetorical strategies, here's a bunch of them. There's 13 listed here, and we talked about all of them during this unit, and I know it's not the first time you've heard about them all, so try to look for one of these in a source 3 here. That's the excerpt from Julius Caesar. And you are going to identify one of the rhetorical strategies and put it in here, a direct quote, and then you're going to cite it. And then you're going to talk about here how the rhetorical strategy contributes to the development of the theme or character, circle 1, by doing what. Now we're going to take a look at number 4. Now, I know you guys have heard this quote many times throughout this unit. We're going to take a look at this direct quote here. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. This portion of Cassius's monologue has been used in pop culture because it expresses a theme. What message is the character conveying in these lines? Be sure to explain in at least 2 well-developed sentences. Cassius is saying what, and this expresses the theme what. So focus in here on the theme that we've talked about most during this play, And this is one theme that we've talked about for probably every single act and every single scene. What theme does this direct quote express? All right, good. So the assessment's 4 questions. At the bottom here is a rubric of how you're going to be graded on this assessment. So we're going to take a look at, do you identify the explicit details from the source materials? That's 2 points. Do you give an accurate explanation of the effect of the allusion on character or theme? That's 4 points. Do you have an accurate identification of additional rhetorical strategy? That's 1 point. Accurate explanation of effect of rhetorical strategy on character or theme? That's 3 points. And then an accurate explanation of theme is 3 points for a total of 13 points. If you have any questions, or if you need me to repeat any of these questions for you,